for entertainment purposes only. And if you want true legal advice, contact your own lawyer.
Spinning off is the NCAA rules of getting players to be paid in the NCAA, basketball, football players, whatever, and with endorsements.
Which most professional athletes seem to be in favor of, surprisingly to me.
And didn't LeBron James came out and said, well, of course, why not? And to some degree, I'm telling you, my general opinion is I don't think that's off base. I don't know if that's the exact fix, but I'm telling you, those of you who are not in this sports arena, who haven't been a lawyer, and I've done some lawyering in the sports arena, those young men and young women that are for these big colleges, especially the big colleges, they're starving to death. I mean, oh no, they're not. They are barely making it, and yet they're making millions, hundreds of millions for their college, and yet they can't even basically afford to get a ride somewhere.
Can't sign an autograph without getting in trouble getting paid
I think
for it.
There's got to be a balance.
When is it going to extend to the Olympians? When is it going to extend to our professional teams?
Well, the Olympians do it now. The Olympians do it with endorsements now. That's how they get their money, is by sponsorships and endorsements.
No, they don't.
Oh, but they do.
Their group gets it.
That's what I'm saying. But
not the actual individuals.
Oh, that's a good point. Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's good. When do we extend it to all these other things? Here we have these people that give up their lives to be Olympians for us, and they don't get to recoup on their benefit of their own image. They cannot, in fact. They have to be non-professional.
Later they can. They can later. Yeah, later they can.
But they're putting so much, and they don't get paid much.
Well, look at Michael Phelps. Sure got paid a lot when he did the Visa commercials, right? He was able to do Visa commercials. True. Yeah, remember he did Visa commercials and made millions.
Did.
Yeah,
he did, but that was after he won the Olympics.
That was before the Olympics, so I don't know the law on that. But the interesting thing is, they do use their Olympic stuff in order to, and the Visa commercials were running during the Olympics. So I don't know exactly the law on that, Denise, but I think it's yes and no. But whoever knows the law, it depends. I don't know. I don't know the law on that.
That's a good answer for a lawyer.
Where's Todd? Is this real life?
You're listening to RadioLawTalk.com. And now back to your host, Frederick Penney.
Okay, Cal, we're talking about the NCAA issue of whether or not athletes should get paid, at least for California that passed a law that said, in fact, Gavin just signed it, I believe, last week or the week before, that says that they can use their likeness and get sponsorship money, and how that will be affected. We've got Joshua on the line. Joshua, thanks for calling in.
Hey, yeah.
Give us your opinion. Tell us. What do you think?
I think the original thought was, I apologize, it's getting feedback. I apologize. Is this better?
Yes.
I was just thinking that the original thought for the colleges was, let's not compromise their education. So the whole thing about sponsorship or money paid to the athletes was their education is more important than their sports activities.
You mean so they wouldn't have to be out hustling up bucks instead of going to class? Is that what you're saying, Josh?
Correct.
Hey, Josh, I got a question for you. So don't forget, this NCAA rule has been in effect for, tens and, 50, 60 years. I don't know, for so long.
Yeah.
I think if you look at how things have changed, I'm going to jump on the other side. It's dramatically changed. I say in the 1960s, Ohio State was not making $170 million on their football program, and I don't think that, and by the way, my daughter was a Division I athlete. My daughter is a phenomenal swimmer, by the way, and swam at a Division I top college. And what I saw in this gal of mine, my daughter, is, luckily, without telling the whole world, we're not hurting financially, but some kids are starving. They're starving to death, and they're working. It's like a full-time job. Now, ignore swimming because they're clearly not going to make a bunch of money. But an Ohio State running back that is one of the top running backs in the country that is bringing all this money. I'm just using Ohio State as an example because I'm not picking on anyone. That's bringing in let's say $79 million approximately to the university, and he gets nothing. And basically, here's your education. Now, here's why I'm going to jump on. This is the issue. Statistically, and I don't have it in front of me, but it's about 1% of the college football players make the NFL. So he beats himself to death. He's got knee surgeries, shoulder surgeries. And you know what? And he washes out his senior year because he has an injury that ends it for life. And what does he have? Yeah, you're right. Josh, he's got an education from Ohio State. Wonderful. Is that worth what he brought to Ohio State over the last 4 years of $190 million approximately per year? I'm just.
Well, I can argue with that. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't argue with what you just said, but I agree with everything you said. I was just saying that the reason why the rules that they put in the original for 50 years was because they did not want the kids to sacrifice their education for something else.
And I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
And I absolutely agree. You know, they lie and cheat and everything else, and they give it to their brothers or their parents or something else, or they figure out a ways to jump around the thing, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's not okay. No, I apologize.
It's not okay to break the law, you're saying, but it's okay that they should get something. And I think what you're trying to say, Joshua, is we need a balance. I don't think it needs to be extreme what Gavin Newsom, what he signed. I don't know if that's too extreme, but I think you and I are agreeing, and probably Denise does, it's got to change it needs to change at least a little bit, you know. Something needs to change.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I was just trying to say is that if you stick with take care of the kids for their education, or if you're going to cheat and you're going to do those things, then let's just adjust to the times of this law, where we're the citizens of this century.
Yeah, you're right, Joshua. Right on. Hey, thanks for calling in, Joshua. I appreciate you calling. You made an awesome point, and I agree with you 100%. Denise?
Well, I think that the schools should profit from the schools' outfits, you know, their uniforms and all that stuff related to the school. And I think that the players should be able to profit a little bit from endorsement deals for themselves, and that would keep them able to continue with school. I do think school should be the focus. Education should be the focus, not just the professional career that may come or may not. So I think there's a good compromise.
So here's another compromise I've always thought about. So what happens, again, we're back to Ohio State star running back, and compared to a person at Toledo that is an offensive lineman, he's not going to get any sponsorship money. That's not going to happen. But so in other words, say the Ohio State running back, maybe that individual sponsorship, he gets 75% of it, and the other 25% goes in a pool that goes to all universities nationwide, and they divide that up to help all the other athletes.
Okay, but what about high school athletes? What about a LeBron James style athlete that everybody knows is going pro all of a sudden? What about a guy in high school that you know could get endorsements? He could have gotten them if he wanted to.
Slippery slope. You're right, Cal. Where does it end? It's not going to. Grammar school. I mean, nowadays, I'm serious. Some basketball players, they're watching them in 8th grade.
Go to the website, radiolawtalk.com. That's radiolawtalk.com.